welcome to Triple Threat Gaming Guru. In today's video, I figured I'd go through all the new Pokemon Go cards now that they've been released online. Waiting to be able to go to the game store and pick up all my stuff that I've got ordered. So that video will be coming out later today as well. But I've been playing a little online and I got a few code cards that I just got online or whatever. So I figured I'd give it a try. So the one deck I did battle today was an Ambipom. It was an awesome deck from what I saw, and I'm going to kind of go over that first, since it's the first set of cards in the series, alphabetically anyways. So, Ambipom, or Apom, nothing special, but once it evolves to Ambipom, its ability, Primate Dexterity, if any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. So you have a 50-50 shot of not doing any damage, or not receiving any damage with this Pokemon. And then Full Tilt Fling, flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage for each heads. So you combine this with Glimwood Tangle, and you have the potential to do a massive amount of damage. Now you fill that deck up full of Twin Energy, and then I don't know how Powerful Energy would work, if that just adds the 20 after everything's done, or if it would be 20 to each heads. If I can get enough of these Ambipom, I'm going to make a deck and try it out, just to see how that works. But you for sure combine it with the Twin Energies, and even some double Turbo, and you're still doing 60 minus 20, which is still a good amount. Again, got to do some play testing to see how that all works out. But there's a couple other cards in here that look like they would work perfectly with that, and we'll get to those. Executor. This one, they've actually got the box, so it's an easy one to get. $20 retail. You get the box with, I think it's 4 or 6 packs, and then the promo Executor card. Flip a coin if heads, search your deck for up to 5 grass energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. And I'm going back here and just saying, that could be a good setup. This attack does 30 damage to each of your Pokemon for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. Also, a good setup, especially if you get 1 energy and you have to search your deck, get 5. Alright, that's 150 damage right there. If you get the ability to wait another turn and do Growing Tail twice with that Glimwood Tangle, it's almost guaranteed, a lot higher shot of getting that heads. You could be setting yourself up for this Executor to be doing 300 damage. Rattata, just a basic card, but Raticate has a good attack. Search your deck for a card, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. An awesome way to get supporters or anything else that you may need to help build up your bench, or to search for a double Turbo Energy or Twin Energy. So Super Fang, put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. which basically means you can bring any of your opponent's Pokemon, V Max, anything, down to just 10 HP. And if the Raticate gets knocked out, they take one prize card. But if you're battling a V Max, okay, whatever Pokemon you bring out, it just only has to do 10 damage. So I could see some good potential there. Articuno, your basic water Pokemon attacks, except for Articuno, do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. 10 more damage just does not seem like enough to me. And it only works on basics, so I don't see a lot of play out of it, but we could be surprised. Bidoof, takedown, does 10 damage to itself. B-Barrel, another B-Barrel that could see a lot of play like the Astral Radiance one did. Reassuring Dam, as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, your cards in your deck can't be discarded by effects of your opponent's attacks, ability, item card, or supporter. It could see play, but I don't know how much, just because there's not too many decks that go after the actual deck. It doesn't protect your hand, but you never know. So the Bulbasaur line, Bulbasaur very basic. Ivysaur I could see being a good one. Search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck. I could see that being useful. Nowhere near as good as Grotile from Brilliant Stars, but still a decent Pokemon. Venusaur. This one's actually looking good. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, switch your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active Pokemon. And the new active Pokemon is now asleep and poisoned. So just think Boss's Order on steroids every single turn. And again, you combine that with Glimwood Tingle. I believe that would work. It might not, just because it's not an attack. I'd have to read the Glimwood Tingle again, but you can get a Boss's Order every turn, potentially. Just keep bringing up their weakest Pokemon and just one-shotting them. I mean, good potential there. Chansey, heal damage from one of your benched Pokemon, and Gentle Slap does 30 damage. And Blissey, heal all damage from one of your benched Pokemon. I could see that actually doing something, say, in the Blissey deck. Because then you could swap this Blissey, do the attack, it gets knocked out, big deal. Or then you switch it back and put out your Chansey or your Blissey again and keep doing damage. I could see some potential there. The Charmander line. Tail on Fire, search your deck for a fire energy card and attach it to this Pokemon. So it's a good way to start building up towards your higher evolutions. This Charizard I'm actually excited about. Each basic fire energy attached to your Pokemon provides 2 fire energy. So the way I am reading that is, you have this Charizard on your bench, and it counts as 2 fire energy for all of your Pokemon. All of your fire Pokemon. No, to any Pokemon. So let's go back to Ambipom. You attach 1 fire energy, that counts as 2 energy. That's a potential of 120 damage for 1 energy. I'm trying to get my ideas going on how I want to build that Ambipom deck at this point. because I'm seeing lots of potential and a lot of different variations I could do on that deck. So I see some potential with this Charizard, even in a fire deck. I mean, to reduce the energy consumption needed to do some of your stronger attacks by half is huge. I mean, you look at like Charizard, V-Star, and some of those, they require a heavy amount of energy. And to be able to just reduce that down, or even in a normal deck, you combine this thing with Arceus, well, you attach 2 fire energy, and Arceus V-Star is ready. Although it may be a little harder to get the Charizard out in time for Arceus, but you know, there's potentials there. Or Pokemon that attack based off damage, such as Blissey. You keep that Charizard protected, your Blissey's doing 60 damage for every fire energy attached instead of 30. I definitely see some potential there. So Conkeldurr, counter, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does that much more damage. So say your opponent does 220 damage, you now do 240. I could see some potential. You combine that with like a Cape of Toughness to get some extra. I could see potential there. Dynamic Punch, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 90 more damage, and your active Pokemon is now your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Again, combined with Glimwood Tangle could be useful. The Ditto is going to be a cool card because it's going to have another card glued on top of it. So you peel that to reveal your Ditto. I'm hoping to get one just so that way we can kind of see it. But I think it's got some good potential. This Pokemon can use attacks of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile except for a Pokemon with a rule box. That's the only negative. Any rule box screws you, so you can't get attacks from good Vs, and it's only on basics. This Dragonite, awesome looking card. I'm excited for it. I prefer the normal artwork over the alternate full art or whatever they call it. But Hyper Beam, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon for a water and electric energy. Dragonite V-Star. This thing could be a killer Pokemon card. Mainly for its V-Star power. Look at the top 12 cards of your deck and attach any number of water or electric energy you find there to any Pokemon in any way you like. Which literally means if you put this thing in a water or a electric deck, even if you didn't use the other just for that V-Star power and then switched them out, just think how much you could power everybody up just like that. I can see lots of potential for that, especially for, you know, a deck like Kingdra, or where you're doing damage based off the number of energies attached to it. Alright, Eevee. Choose a random card from your opponent's hand. Opponent reveals it, shuffles it back into their deck. Good way to potentially hurt your opponent. I'm not calling it a great thing, but it could be. Sylveon, search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your hand. That one I could see being very useful because you're searching for 2 cards that you could potentially really need Wonder Flash, unless you're going up against a dragon deck, it's 90 damage, but it takes 3 energy, so I wouldn't call it a great one there. Ice Beam. On the Lapras, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed and Surf for 110. It's a cool looking card. Larvitar, who's always one of my favorites. Flip a coin, if heads, do 10 more damage. And Pupitar. Puppetar, I don't know exactly how you say it, but this attack also does 20 damage to each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. This will be important here in a moment. You will see why. Tyranitar. Raging Crash. This attack does 10 damage for each damage counter on all your bench Pokemon. So, if you have a full bench and do 20 damage to each of them, that being 5 Pokemon, that is 200 damage. You did that twice, that's 400 damage. So if your Pokemon have a total of if you had 5 Pokemon on your bench with 40 damage each, that's a massive amount of damage. Alright, Lunatone, cycle draw, discard a card, draw 3 cards. If this and Moon Kinesis, this attack does 30 more damage for each psychic energy attached to this Pokemon. Could be a useful one. Magikarp. It looks like a cool card. Search your deck for any number of Magikarp, reveal them, put them in your hand. Shuffle your deck. And then Raging Fin. This attack does 30 more damage for each Magikarp and Gyarados in your discard pile. So a potential, say you had 4 Magikarp and 4 Gyarados. I don't know how that would apply with like a Gyarados V, but say Gyarados V was in your discard pile too. So we'll just go off 3 Magikarp, that's 90 damage plus the 10, so 100 damage. Then we put in 4 Gyarados just because, you know, we want to see best case scenario. That's 120 more damage. So we're at 220. So it's got potential as a, I guess like a rogue one-off deck just for the fun of it, but alright. So Wreck Havoc. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. That could do some major damage to them. And Wild Splash. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck for 200 and do 230 damage. So in a deck where more things that you have in your discard pile, the better, that could be a useful card. Or to pair with the Magikarp, but Melmetal. Arm Charge, you may attach a steel energy from your hand onto this Pokemon. Mega Punch for 140. Not bad. Melmetal VMAX. This attack does 60 more damage for each extra energy attached to this Pokemon, up to 120. So you have 5 energy on it, it's now doing 280 damage. Yeah, 280 damage. It could take out a lot of V's. A lot of V stars. Melmetal, Thundershock. Does 20 damage, your opponent's Pokemon is paralyzed. And Melmetal, Headbutt and Swinging Smash. Attack does 90 damage for each heads. Could be useful. You're at least doing a base of 30, but you could potentially do 180 plus the 30. So 210. Not too bad. The Mewtwo I'm looking forward to. I've got the Metal and the Mewtwo decks on order, so I'll be picking those up at the game store as well. So I'll do videos on both those decks. Alright. So Super Psybolt 50 damage and Transfer Break 160 movement energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. I could see some potential there, but it kind of sucks to lose the energy. Mewtwo V Star. This is the one I'm excited about because of its Star Raid ability. This attack does 120 damage to each of your opponent's Vs. This damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. I could see lots of potential there. And Size Surge. Discard up to 3 energy cards from your Pokemon. This attack does 90 damage for each card you discard in this way. So you're looking at a potential of 90, 180, 270 damage if you discard up to if you discard 3 psychic energy. Alright. Oh, let's get Moltres. Just like the Articuno, your basic Pokemon do 10, fire Pokemon do 10 more damage. Nothing too exciting. Not to heal 20 damage from those Pokemon. Cool. Or 20 damage. Zatu. Pinpoint Wave. This attack does 90 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon V. Isn't affected by weakness and resistance. So you could attack the bench. And Numel. Nothing special. Camera. Attack does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon of your choice. Not too bad, and Heat Blast for 120. Onyx, I could see some potential with. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat for 50. And Raging Swing does 50 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So this is another one. You could team up with that Pupitar and put 2 damage counters on it while it's on your bench, do 100 damage, or 4 and do 200. Is it a great attacker at that point? Maybe not. And is it worth the 4 energy? I don't know, but I could see some potential, especially since it's like a single prize card. So even if you lose it, it's not as big a deal. Steelix, Body Slam, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's Pokemon is now paralyzed, and 170 during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. I don't know. P-Dove, cool looking card. Same with Tranquil and Unpheasant, but Unpheasant I could see being somewhat okay. Again, with the Glenwood Tangle, flip 4 coins, attack does 70 damage for each heads. So you got the potential for 280 damage, but it's never a guarantee. Pikachu, everyone's favorite. If you played a supporter card from your hand during this turn, this attack does 30 more damage. So, not a great card, but Pikachu is just so cute. And a second Pikachu. Wild Charge, this attack does 30 damage to itself. Again, not great. And the Radiance. Radiant Blastoise. Let's put him up front quick. You must discard a water energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So kind of a replacement for the Inteleon. And if you've got Melanie or something, you're able to then use that ability and attach the water energy with the Melanies or, you know, some other cards like that. Radiant Charizard. This Pokemon's attack costs 1 less for each prize card your opponent has taken. I could see some potential, mainly, you know, as a one-off card. Obviously, you can only have one in there, but kind of like a replacement for Baby Moltres. You're on your last limb, 5 prize cards taken. It costs no energy. Well, it would cost you a regular fire because it only loses the colorless. But for 1 fire energy, you do 250 damage, and it's a single prize card, so you still got some potential there. Once at the end of your Radiant Venusaur. Once at the end of your turn, after your attack, you may use this ability. Draw 4 cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. I could see putting this in a Malamar deck, to be honest, because you can discard everything and just draw 4 cards. Bam! You're now setting up for your next turn. So I could see some potential with the Radiant Venusaur there. Slacking, if you have kinda lazy, if you have exactly 2, 4, or 6 prize cards remaining, this Pokemon can't attack. I don't know how I feel. It does a massive amount of damage, but you know, you could only attack depending on your prize cards. Yeah, Slowpoke, Hold Still, heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. An ideal fishing. Put an item card from your discard pile into your hand. I could see that being useful. Being able to get an item card. Tumbling Tackle. Both active Pokemon are now asleep. And Twilight Inspiration. You can use this attack only if your opponent has exactly 1 prize card remaining. Take 2 prize cards. So you could throw him in there. If it's down to that wire, you just take your 2 prize cards and win. I call that cheating. Kind of a cheap move, but I could see some potential. Kind of as a rogue deck thing. And Snorlax. Block as long as this Pokemon is your active. Your opponent's active Pokemon can't retreat and collapse. This Pokemon is now asleep. Cool looking card, and I'm not calling it super useful, but it's got potential. Solrock. Once during your turn, you may attach a psychic energy from your discard pile to one of your Lunatone. So basically, they want Solrock and Lunatone in a deck. Could be a fun thing to try and figure out how that would work. Spinarak. Poison Sting. Flip a head coins. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And Ariados. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed and poisoned. And absorb, heal 50 damage. Squirtle. Such a cutie. Wartortle. Does 10 damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. And Blastoise. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 6 energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle your deck afterwards. If you use this ability, your turn ends. So I could see potential with that as I'm going to power up my Pokemon right now type thing. And as long as the Blastoise survives, especially if it's on the bench, or you use it to power up another Pokemon, I see lots of potential with this Blastoise. This attack does 30 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon, plus 90. So if you put 4 water energy on it, which is the minimum energies to attack, you're doing 30, 120 plus the 90, so 210. And if you attach all 6 water energy to it, that's another another 60. So 210, 270 damage for a single prize. I could see some potential. You combine that with the Dragonite from earlier, who has the V-Star ability to search the top 12 cards, you could put a massive amount of energy on this Blastoise. And then, you know what? Put a Kingdra on your bench, because all that water energy would then just go to Kingdra if it's knocked out. And Kingdra can do a massive amount of damage. Wimpod. Punk out if your opponent's active Pokemon is a V. It has no retreat. This Pokemon has no retreat cost. And Nah for 10. Gala Speed. First impression, if this Pokemon moved from your bench to the active spot, does 90 more damage. Okay. Zapdos, Lightning Symbol, same as the other 2 birds. The only card I didn't see in this list so far is the Radiant Eevee. So I'm excited to see what that will be doing. And I will be pulling that one later today. So stay tuned to watch that video. So again, please like, subscribe, and share my channel. And I will see you next time.